Hi everyone, my name is Christy and welcome to my Trying a New Makeup Product Everyday series. Today I have this Realher Playbook Shadow Palette number 3. I've tried out a lot of Realher products on my channel because I get a lot of them in Ipsy and BoxyCharm, but I feel like it's been a while since I've tried one out. This is paraben-free, cruelty-free, natural ingredients, vegan, sulfate-free, and I'm really excited about the shades that come in this palette because they're exactly the shades that I find myself reaching for most often. Check these out. I feel like this has all of the essentials, from the light cream shades, both a shimmery and a matte, and then neutral browns, but then still a little bit of pop of color with these purpley tones. Like, first impression, I'm very excited about this. And it has the mirror here. So if these shades perform well, this would be a perfect travel palette for me because it has everything I need for my go-to looks, but it can transition day to night with these shades. So this seems very promising. Of course, the first thing I have to do is some swatches. So this one looks very metallic, yes. And then this one just looks a little shimmery. Wow, almost like matte with a little sparkle. Let's see, this one seems matte. They have very buttery feel, looks nicely pigmented. Ooh. Oh wow. Okay, these seem like really nice formulas. Ooh. Wow, yeah, they're swatching really nicely. And there's a lot of different finishes, like shimmer sparkle, matte sparkle, just kind of a glowy highlight, and they're all really nice. Sometimes it seems like maybe one sort of formula seems better than the others, but in this case, I'm equally impressed by all of them. So here you can see how those swatched. And so now I always test out eyeshadow palettes with and without an eyeshadow primer. And my go-to is the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. And I am going to apply this all over one of my eyelids, from lash line to brow bone. Just blend this out. Okay, so I love that this has a light, more shimmery, more glowy highlight shade, and then just a light matte off-white shade. So I am going to start out with a fluffy brush. Let's go ahead and pick up the matte shade called Flawless on a fluffy brush just to set the lid. And I'm just going to very quickly, lightly dust this all over the lid. Sometimes I like to use a shade like this as the only eyeshadow that I'm wearing to help even out the skin tone on my eyelid and just make it look more like a clean, crisp look. And this shade could definitely work for that. It's not extremely pigmented, but it did a decent job of just canceling out some of that discoloration, and it'll prep it so that the other shades can blend easier on top. And then for the highlight shade, I'm going to use my finger and pick up this shade called Perfect, which is pretty much the same shade, but maybe with a little bit more glow. It's like kind of hard to tell if it actually has shimmer to it. Let's see how it looks on the eye. Like overall, I think this is going to be pretty matte. It has like the slightest little shimmer in it, but not enough to actually give a highlighted effect to the brow bone. But when I swatched this shade below called Gorgeous, this one has like a pearl finish. Let's see if this shade can work for the brow highlight. It's a little bit darker than what I want for a highlight, but on top of that other cream shade, I think it can be light enough. But I guess I wish there was a little bit more highlight effect in these light shades because it doesn't give like that reflective sheen that I look for in my highlight for the brow bone. And then I can't even really highlight the inner corner because I don't have a shade quite light enough and reflective enough. But I'll move on to my next step, which is to start building up some contour and dimension in the crease. So a lot of good shades that I could use there. But I think I'll go in with this one called Incomparable, like a light matte brown. And I'm just going to blend this in the crease and then up on the brow bone. This shade is looking very subtle, but that's not necessarily bad for the crease transition area. But I definitely can use a heavy hand and keep applying a lot of this because I want it to show up, and it barely is. Like a very slight difference with it versus without it, but that's okay because the next step will be to deepen up the crease anyways. But this one is definitely hard to see. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up this middle shade called Stunning. And let's see if this will deepen up the crease and create more dimension to the eye. Barely. Nothing wrong with a subtle neutral eyeshadow look, but I was just expecting a little bit more from these. But I mean, that does help. That does enhance the eye shape. So next time I think I would probably skip the transition shade and just go in with this Stunning shade as both my crease and transition shade because it's not too intense, not too dark. Blends out easily that I can diffuse it up onto the brow bone as well, but try and build it up more in the crease. Like that does look nice. I could just stop here once again with a quick, easy look to just enhance the eyes, but still very casual and very minimal. And I love a look like this. But I'm going to transition this now, let's say like from day to night, and add a little bit more glam. And I'm going to go for the darkest shade called Divine. And I'm going to just start out picking up a little bit and building up this outer corner, the outer V, and create more dimension. This is like a dark purple shade, which is kind of fun for this outer corner. It's still looking very neutral, but just to be something a little different than like a typical dark brown that I would use in this place. I feel like I keep dipping back in and it's not looking super dark, but it's dark enough to go with this more subtle look. I like that actually. It's more of a, I know I was saying day to night, but I guess it's more of like a daytime glam, which can also be worn at night, of course. Just in my eyes, that just seems a little bit more subtle. But I love a subtle eyeshadow look. It's probably what I'm actually wearing most often. And if I can use all shades in this palette on more of a daily basis, that's actually a great palette. Great use. And this is buildable. Takes time, but it is blending out nicely, and I'm able to deepen it up where I want to. I really love how this is enhancing the eyes. And then we've got this pretty shimmery purple shade that I'm going to pick up with my finger here. And it looks lighter than I was expecting based off of how it looks in the palette. But I'm going to just apply this to the rest of the lid. I was thinking this would maybe amp it up a bit, and it is, but still in a subtle way. It's got shimmer, but it's not super shiny. It's still like literally like a toned down, more muted shimmer finish. But that does look really pretty. I love this color. It's like a pinky purple. One of my favorites. So I love that you can get still like a colorful little pop of color with this eyeshadow palette, or you could do a very beautiful neutral look as well. So a lot of different options here. The eye look is almost complete. I'm really liking it. I mean, it's not like a crazy exciting eyeshadow look to do for this video, but it truly is the type of eyeshadow look that I feel most comfortable in, that I do most often for most occasions. And then, wow, I have used almost all of the shades in the palette. So to finish it off, I'm going to pick up a shade that I hadn't used yet. Let's go in with this one called Alluring. It's like a brown with a shimmer, but also a little bit purple. It's a cool color. I'm going to blend this along the lower lash line. I love to put like a brown shimmery shade on the lower lash line because I don't like to make it too dark. So this shade is actually perfect for this purpose. Nice, yeah, it does help enhance the eye even more. Overall, these shades are really easy to work with too. They're blendable, buildable, and there we go. I'm happy with this. I'm wearing this like very funky colored sweater, but with my purple dress and this eyeshadow look, that's a perfect combination. I didn't even plan that, but oh, this is actually really pretty. So here you can see the finished eyeshadow look. I feel like this is the type of palette that could show up in like an Ipsy Points redemption or like a choice in Ipsy or BoxyCharm. And I really would say it's a good palette to have in the collection because it's so wearable. And aren't those the best types of palettes that you actually want to have? So if you do have this, and if you have tried it out, I would love to hear in the comments down below what you think of it, what kind of looks you've created. And thank you so much for watching my video today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you can see the makeup that I try every day. And I will see you tomorrow in my next video.